2 to make a payment?
I'm on Section 8, and I've notified Section 8 that I've a decrease of income. They stated since they received my paperwork on 9/11 that my rent from 10/1 on forward was $0.00.
So you're zero.
So all this, I believe, is back pay for past.
All right.
I'm gonna say.
Have you tried to get assistance to get that paid?
Yes, sir. I filled out an SER, and I have an appointment with Hawk on December 3rd.
Okay, so you've already got an appointment with Hawk?
Yes, sir.
You filled out the SER?
Yes, sir. I'm waiting on the response for that.
Okay, so what you need to do is, as I've told other people, you need to fill out the form, the rental assistance form. You can get it from the QR code that's on the screen, or you can look into chat and get the link, or you can come down to the court, get that form, fill it out. I need to have that form by next Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
And I'll adjourn this to November 22nd, 2024 at 1 p.m.
In person?
In person. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Arbor 1 versus Juma. Is it Sindano? Sindano.
Sure, Wolkoff on behalf of the plaintiff.
You may proceed.
Your Honor, plaintiff moves for entry of a default judgment of possession only, rent to retain $829, court cost $175.10 for a total redemption figure of $1,003.10, the statutory redemption period.
Judgment to the plaintiff by default for possession, redemption amount in the amount requested with the writ issued in 10 days. Arbor 1 versus Merlin Anderson.
Sure, Wolkoff on behalf of the plaintiff.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. And how much is plaintiff claiming?
Your Honor, total amount due $2,809.10.
I don't plan on paying that. I really want to move out of this unit. I moved here in August, and I was supposed to get like a checklist to come and get everything done in the apartment. Nothing is working in the apartment. My bathroom is not done. My window, they came and drilled my window shut because they wouldn't stay closed. And nothing is just getting done. I don't have a mailbox key. There's bugs like all throughout the hallway and everything.
Sir, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjourn your case over to the 22nd at 1 p.m. You need to either at that time or previous to that time actually speak to the landlord about getting a move out and whether or not they'll permit you or release you from your lease.
Okay, I have a question. Is my mother able to speak? Because she's in here with me also.
Is she reside in the premises?
No, I'm not.
No, she not.
But they've been contacting me.
Okay, then no. I mean, I may let her. If you come next week and there's an issue, then I may deal with it then. But I'm not going to let it happen on this proceeding.
Okay.
All right. So talk to your landlord, see if they'll release you from your lease.
All right. And you said when is the next date?
The 22nd at 1 p.m. in person down at the courthouse.
All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Arbor 1 versus Tashanti Coakley.
Sure, Wolkoff on behalf of the plaintiff.
Please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people. Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Stevens.
Coyle for the record, Stevenson appearing on behalf of Leroy Goff. He stands mute, waives the reading of the information. As to the plea of not guilty be entered on his behalf, Mr. Goff has been advised of his rights, Your Honor.
All right, Court, a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Goss. This is a 3-year-old case. What is your bond recommendation, Mrs. Coyle?
Your Honor, he has a pending matter set for jury trial on February 13th, and also a final conference set for the January 20th before Judge Ramsey for great bodily harm, domestic violence case. Your Honor, that bond is set at $10,000 personal with Heather. This case was recently issued, even though it is 3 years old. So there's no capious history on it. So the people are asking for $10,000 personal bond and no contact with the complainant, Ms. Brown, or her property.
Concur with the people's request for bond, Your Honor.
$10,000 personal bond, Mr. Goss. No contact with the Pearson address. And no contact with Bawana Brown. Probable cause November 26th, preliminary examination, December 3rd, both in front of Judge Taylor. Step aside, have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Goss, is there anybody else? The Wayne County Jail?
The deputy right here.
Okay.
He said he's right here.
Is there anybody else in the Wayne County Jail?
No, sir, this is the only arraignment.
Okay, have a good day.
You too, sir.
All right, yes, sir.
All right. All right, now, Mr. Cody.
Yes,
Your
sir.
name.
Imani Zachary Cody.
All right. Cody, you have some traffic matters in which you failed to appear for, sir. As a result of your failure to appear, warrants for your arrest were issued. The court's going to set aside these arrest warrants. You approach the bond in each of these misdemeanor matters. It carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed on your behalf. Tickets are U314-581-16, violation of the city's substance code, and U449-87718. The above, possession of one rolled cigar with suspected marijuana. In both of these matters, so you get a personal bond of dollar amount pretrial December 12th in front of Judge Kennedy. Now for your main matter, calling case number 240-590-2801, Houston, Michigan versus Imani Cody. Before counsel put their appearances on the record, I have a $30,000 cash capious bond set September 26th by Judge Giles. Appearances from counsels.
Thank you, Magistrate. And for that reason, the city will not be appearing in this.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Imani Cody. He stands mute, waives the reading of the information, asks that a plea of not guilty be entered on his behalf. Your Honor, Mr. Cody has been advised of his rights, and we do have a motion pending before Judge Giles for the case.
So that means pending means there's no answer.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, the bond will continue. $30,000 cash surety. If and when you get an answer, we can recall this case, and no objection to waiving Mr. Cody's appearance.
None at all. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Cody, $30,000 cash surety as of now, although it's subject to change. Bond redetermination will be Monday, November 18th. (9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConico. Probable cause November 25th. What are you, it can't be an exam? Okay. I think probable cause November 25th, preliminary examination, December 2nd. Probable cause in front of Judge Kevin Robbins, preliminary examination, December 2nd, in front of Judge Giles. Bond redetermination, November 18th, Monday, 9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConico. Have a good day, sir. Step aside.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Joshua Devontae Ford.
Joshua Devontae Ford. This is case number 240-600-8801. Precinct Michigan versus Joshua Ford. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Joshua Ford. Mr. Ford stands mute, waives the reading of information. After the plea of not guilty on his behalf, he has been advised of his rights, Your Honor.
Forward on not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Ford. Bond recommendation, Mrs. Coyle.
Your Honor, this is a 2021 case, but I am recommending a remand in this matter. Mr. Ford is the father of the complainants. The complainants, because they're minors, I won't say their names, but they are 9 and 7 years old. There's allegations that he had touched them and made them perform sexual intercourse, fellatio, touching. And one allegation is that he urinated in the young girl's mouth. Threatened to kill her if she would say anything. Most of this occurred while the mother was away. The female minor witnessed the defendant touching her siblings, made the boy siblings perform oral sex on each other. Also, more corroboration of this is that the female complainant had blisters and swelling on her vaginal area that was observed by her mother. Your Honor, I don't need to say any more. Remand is necessary to protect these children and others.
One question, Mrs. Coyle. How old were the minors?
9 and 7 years old.
And they were his biological daughters?
One is a boy and one is a girl.
Oh, I stand corrected. But they're both his biological children?
That is what I read, yes. I believe so.
Okay. Mrs. Stevenson?
Your Honor, as the court is aware, the allegations are from 2021. We want the court to be aware that Mr. Ford has no minor children in his care custody. At this time, he doesn't have any minor children who live in the home with him. He has no contact with the complaining witness. At this time, they are in foster care, Your Honor, I believe in the custody of an aunt. Mr. Ford does not have money to post as bond. His sole source of income is SSI. He does have some psychiatric medication needs, trying to get back on it. So this file will be marked medical because of the age of the case, because there are no children in his care custody at this time, Your Honor, because Mr. Ford was only arrested as a result of these charges. We don't have any new allegations that I'm aware of. I ask the court not to remand at this time. Ask for nominal bond.
How much is a nominal bond to you, Mrs. Stevenson?
Your Honor, I'd ask that the bond not exceed $25,000 cash.
One more question, Mrs. Stevenson. A few more questions, actually. How long have the children been in foster care?
Your Honor, I don't have an answer to that, but I know that they are not living in the same household with Mr. Ford at this time. Neither are any children living in that household.
Does he live by himself?
He lives with a brother, Your Honor. That's an adult.
How long has he been living?
I don't have an answer for that, Your Honor. Yeah, I don't know that.
No answer, no answer, no answer. Give me one moment, please. Okay, given the age of the case, I'm not going to remand, but I am going to give him a $250,000 cash surety bond, GPS tether, house arrest, no contact with the two minors, and you're not possessing any handguns, firearms, or other dangerous weapons. I assume this is an unaffordable bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Bond redetermination Monday, November 18th. Probable cause November 25th, preliminary examination December 2nd, both in front of Judge Sabri. Is there anything else either council wants to put on the record?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing on behalf of Mr. Ford. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, step aside, sir. And for the record, I find Mr. Ford a danger to the community in light of these severe allegations. I initially would have been inclined to remand him if the dates of offense had been more recent, but these are allegations 3 years old. And let me finish. And there's no assertion on the record that since 2021 there's been any contact or any other negative behavior related to the kids or anybody else. So that's the reason, because of the age of the case, I did not remand it.
Yeah, I was just gonna put on the record. I was just gonna put on the record that the date of the complaint was in 2022, but I just note that when you have children being abused, it doesn't come out right away, especially when they make threats to kill. And the mother was not prudent in bringing these children forward. So that's probably, there's a reason that they're in foster care. So I look at it as no one's watching over these children, and this is a situation in which somebody, their own father, is having, like, we all read the IR, and so he is a danger to the community, whether he's in his house or not. It doesn't, prevent children from coming within his house. I mean, granted, there's a court order.
I also need to add. Hold on, thanks for reminding me. I also need to add no contact with any minors.
But Mr. Vincent can ask for the remand again on Monday.
And I'm sure he will.
I hope he will, and I know he will. Thank you, though.
You're welcome. What's your name, sir?
Stephen Charles T.
Mr. Heath? All right, this is case number 240-588-1601. People said Michigan versus Stephen Charles Heath. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Stephen Heath. He stands mute, waives the reading of the information after the plea of not guilty be entered on his behalf. Mr. Heath has been advised of his rights, Your Honor.
Okay, court order on not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Heath. Bond recommendation, Mrs. Coyle.
Your Honor, in this matter, in light of the other matter that we just had, the people are going to request a $200,000 cash surety, Your Honor, to their house arrest as well. This was a backlog warrant per the APA note. The child in this matter was 10 years old. It is the defendant's brother. And that there was an APA note in there that this defendant's brother is in prison for committing sexual assault on him. And so this is something that is within the family. I also was troubled by, and I tried to get a hold of the APA by a note that I observed in the APA notes about something that was on the body worn camera from the original report that they wrote, that there was more than, he's only charged with the CSE2 for rubbing on his brother's buttocks, but there is further allegations alleged in the note of penetration. And so that's why I wanted to talk to the APA before I made any, to make sure I was clear on that note. But since it's only right now, we're before the court as to a CSE2, that I will leave my argument as that.
And Mrs. Stevenson, why should I give your client a cash bond?
Your Honor, Mr. Heath is 32 years old, Your Honor. He was at work when he was arrested on this warrant only. I am not aware of any capious history. I'm not aware of any criminal history, Your Honor. Mr. Heath has absolutely no contact with this complaining witness, Your Honor, or with any of his family members. He's presumed innocent of these charges. We don't take anything in the investigator's report to be completely factual, but Mr. Heath, for his own personal safety, has stayed completely away from his family, flatly denies these allegations, is concerned that the fact that he's keeping his distance from his family members is causing them or something that's going on. And I think it may have something to do with what Ms. Coyle has referenced, that they're completely making these lies up and fabricating this entire story. Mr. Heath didn't want to have anything to do with these individuals. He didn't do anything to his little brother or any other child. He doesn't have any children in his custody, Your Honor. We believe a prohibition against contact with minor children would suffice to keep the public safe, Your Honor. The incident, as alleged, is from 2022. And again, we are concerned about the possibility, as referenced in this investigator's report, of some coaching or something that's going on at the hands of family members of this young child. So no reason for Mr. Heath to have contact with the complainants. He doesn't want to have contact with anybody in his family because of some really sad stuff that's been going on. But he denies these allegations, says he didn't do this and he wouldn't do this, Your Honor. So Mr. Heath is working. He is a very limited means. He's living at a motel right now, Your Honor. He was at work, and if he stays in jail, he's gonna lose his housing. Very, very, very sad, tragic situation. But Mr. Heath is presumed innocent and flatly denies the allegations. Is horrified that these accusations have been made against him. So I'm asking the court to consider a personal bond with GPS tether. Absolutely no contact with complaining or any of the sure. No criminal history, okay, history.
Okay, couple questions, follow-up questions, Mrs. Stevenson.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's unclear from the investigator's report, are they biological brothers, or he says, or considers him as a brother? Which one is it?
I believe this is a biological brother, Your Honor. There are numerous children. I think there are about 11 of them in total.
11 of them?
11.
I believe so.
Wow. And where does he work, Mrs. Stevenson?
He's working at a Coney Island, Your Honor, and that's where he was when the police came and picked him up, only on this warrant.
What do you mean only? What do you mean by that? Only on this one?
There was nothing else going on that he got arrested. The police went there just to execute an arrest on this warrant only. It's not like there was anything that happened or nothing intervening, Your Honor.
Okay, and it just got signed August of this year from nearly, I guess they're getting rid of the backlog.
That's what it said. It was a backlog warrant in the note, Your Honor.
Okay, $100,000 cash surety. No contact with the complaining witness, not to possess any handguns, firearms, other dangerous weapons. GPS tether, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. No contact with any minors. Bond redetermination Monday, November 18th, 9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConaughey. Probable cause November 25th. Plenary examination December 2nd, both in front of Judge Sabri. Step aside, please, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Najee Lamar Ivy.
Najee Ivy. That rhymes. You know that, right? All right, it's case number 240-604-1401. Houston, Michigan versus Najee Lamar Ivy. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate. Good morning. Steve Vincent for the people, P71917.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson, on behalf of Najee Ivy, he stands mute, waives the reading of information as to the plea of not guilty. Mr. Ivy has been advised of his rights.
Court on not guilty plea. On behalf of Mr. Ivy. Bond recommendation, Mr. Vincent.
Magistrate, the way that I see it, this is actually a reissue. The case did a little bit of digging here. The case was dismissed in June of 23. Actually, it was dismissed by the people. Apparently, there were issues with dash cam as well as other evidentiary issues, and the previous amount was $25,000 personal with the tether. He was arraigned July 29th of 22, and then that case was dismissed about a year later. Magistrate White had given that. I don't even know if a tether is necessary at this point. He went through this for over a year.
Right. I'll give a $20,000 personal bond, no tether. Only if Mr. Stevenson doesn't object.
Absolutely, I don't object. We had no KPS history during the previous go-round. It never missed one single court date. We would have no objection to a personal with no tether here.
All right, $20,000 personal bond, no tether at this point. While this case is pending, sir, you're not in possession to use any illegal narcotic drugs. Probable cause November 25th, preliminary examination December 2nd, both in front of Judge Jefferson. Step aside, please. All right, Mr. Stevenson, are you ready for my two walk-ins, Delon Robinson and Cedric Wingo?
We are, Your Honor.
Okay, Cedric Wingo. Good morning, sir. State your name for the record. This is case number 240-453-9101. Houston, Michigan versus Cedric Wingo. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Vincent, P71917.
Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Cedric Wingo. He stands mute, waives the reading of the information, asks the plea of not guilty on his behalf, Your Honor. Mr. Wingo has been advised of his rights.
All right, court of not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Wingo. Bond recommendation. Mr. Vincent.
Magistrate, currently Mr. Wingo is being supervised by the probation department in Wayne County. A day prior to this incident, the defendant before you today had assaulted his wife, the same complainant in this particular matter. That had gone to plea in October of this year. He pled to a DV where the GBH was dismissed. He was sentenced October 11th, given 2 years probation, no contact with his wife. And then we see in this particular incident, the day after, allegedly he had assaulted her again, but this time he's being charged with that interference with the crime report because he allegedly told her that he would kill her if she contacted the police. With all of that being said, seeing as though he's already being monitored by the probation department, we're not going to have an issue with the personal bond, no contact through the pendency of this case with his wife if they're still married.
Just a question: is he monitored via tether or just monitoring via probation?
I think the way that I read it, and Odyssey actually spelled it out. He only no tether. He got 12 months probation, batterers, counseling, and the no contact, but no tether.
Okay. All right, Mr. Stevenson.
So I am asking. Yeah, I'm asking the court to follow the people's recommendation.
Okay, hold on. I got a question.
Okay.
Does he have alternative place to stay aside from the outer drive address?
They have absolutely no contact with each other, Your Honor. They're not living at the same address. They're actually not even married anymore at this point.
So
Since September of 2024, Your Honor.
So he has no reason to go to the outer drive address?
Your Honor,
Your
that's
client has his
Mr.
hand-
Yeah, that's
your
Mr.
client-
Wingo's.
Your client has
the
his
outer-
hands raised, apparently wants to say something?
Your Honor, actually, Mr. Wing, can you give me a minute? Let me go in the courtroom. One second.
Magistrate, if you can tell me when Ms. Stevenson comes in, I have one other thing that okay. I wanted to wait for Ms. Stevenson to come in. You know, the one alarming thing that the people do see here is, on top of the fact this is the same complaining witness, and he was just convicted of a DV against her. Apparently he's on probation currently for a CCW as well. He got on probation for that out of Oakland. He got 12 months probation. So in the meantime, or subsequent to going through the assault case, he ends up getting a sentence for a CCW. Somewhat alarming in the idea that, you know, he's got a gun case now that he's convicted for, and now we're facing this case again. But it is an incident that took place allegedly in February of this year. So we're just going to leave it up to you. I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
All right, Mr. Stevenson, with respect, can you give us clarification as to who, what, when, and where with respect to the outer drive address?
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize for the confusion. Your Honor, Mr. Wingo lives at the West Outer Drive address. The complaining witness no longer lives there, Your Honor, and I think that that's been since September of 2024.
Are you said they're no longer married? When were they divorced?
The divorce was finalized about 2 months ago, Your Honor.
From what judge?
Your Honor, Mr. Wingo does not recall the judge that granted the divorce, but it was at circuit court.
You don't recall the judge?
Stated he does not, Your Honor.
Well, who was your attorney that handled the divorce?
I didn't have an attorney. I did it on,
Does your ex-wife have an attorney?
yes.
What was his or her name?
And then Robin George.
Are there any children as a result of this marriage?
No, sir.
How long were you married?
3 months maximum.
You were married for 3 months?
Maximum. No,
Okay, hold on.
No, yeah, I was about to ask you. It took you long to get divorced. Well, how long did y'all date? 3 months too?
3 years.
3 years. You dated longer than you were married.
Yes.
$50,000 personal bond. No contact with Shanice Johnson Wingo. You're not to possess any handguns, firearms, other dangerous weapons. Have a seat, wait for your paperwork.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Stevenson, you can stay in the courtroom. We got Mr. DeLon Robinson.
Ready on Mr. Robinson, Your Honor. That's a great question. Your Honor, what is Mr. Wingo's pre-trial date?
Oh, that is a great question. November 27th in front of Judge Garrett. And you guess what? I gave a great answer. Mr. Robinson, I think I saw you in court the other day in traffic. That wasn't you? I think I saw you in small claims or something. You sure? Don't let me look you up. You got a computer. All right, state your name, sir. This is case number 240-450-4501. Peterson, Michigan versus Delon Robinson. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Benson for the people.
The record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Delon Robinson, who stands mute, waives the reading of the information after the plea of not guilty be entered onto behalf. Mr. Robinson has been advised of his rights, Your Honor.
All right, court of not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Robinson. Bond recommendation, Mr. Vincent.
Magistrate, but for the fact that this was an incident that allegedly took place February 6th of this year, we would be asking for an alcohol tether. Apparently, the defendant was found with a 0.15 blood alcohol content based on an intoxilizer result. He doesn't have priors. I would just be asking for a no drinking provision through the pendency of this case.
Okay.
In turn, the people's request for personal bond, Your Honor, no objection to the prohibition against the consumption of alcohol.
All right, $10,000 on a personal bond while this case is pending, sir. No drinking. Pre-trial, November 27th, in front of Judge Bryant. Have a seat, wait for your paperwork. What's your name, sir? At DDC?
Hello, sir. My name is Jaron. Last name is Jordan, J-O-R-D-N.
Okay, you come across as mumbling, sir.
Sorry, sir. My name is Jaron. Last name Jordan, J-O-R-D-A-N, as in Nancy.
Okay, I got it now. All right, it's case number 240-604-6801. Peace in Michigan versus Jaron Jordan. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Benson for the people.
Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Jaron Jordan. He stands mute, waives the reading of the information. After the plea of not guilty be entered on his behalf, Your Honor, Mr. Jordan has been advised. Rights.
All right, court order not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Jordan. Bond recommendation, Mr. Vincent.
Magistrate, this is the case involving a defendant that allegedly was found with a 9-inch knife on his person, as well as drugs in his underwear. He's 18 years old. I didn't find any priors. Non-assaultive on its face. I think an argument could be made that there's a level of danger, but I'm not going to make it now. No objection to personal.
Mr. Stevenson, is he in school?
Your Honor, Mr. Jordan already graduated from high school and he's been working, Your Honor, since October at a local manufacturing establishment. He works there 9:30 in the evening until 5 o'clock in the morning. I think that's a great shift for an 18-year-old. He lives locally with his mother, and he was actually released and or detained and then released at the time of the initial date of the allegations, Your Honor. And Mr. Jordan, didn't move. So he advised me this morning that he would have gone on down to the DDC or come someplace and take care of it. They didn't have to arrest him, but they did. And he's ready to take care of this, Your Honor. So I'd ask for personal bond with the people.
$10,000 personal bond while his case is pending, sir. Not a possession of any dangerous weapons, no possession of drugs. Probable cause November 25th. Preliminary examination December 2nd. Both in front of Judge Jefferson. Step aside, please. The attorney for Mr. Marcel Johnson has not logged in. Call him. Okay. Okay. What's your name, sir?
Brandon Earl McKinley.
It's case number 240-602-4401. Please say the Michigan versus Brandon Earl McKinley. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Brandon McKinley, who stands mute, waives the reading of the information. After the plea of not guilty entered on his behalf, Mr. McKinley has been advised of his rights, Your Honor.
Court of not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. McKinley. Bond recommendation, Mrs. Coyle.
Your Honor, this was a reissue. No objection to a $5,000 personal bond.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Ask the court to follow the people's bond recommendation, Your Honor.
$5,000 personal bond, Mr. McKinley. While this case is pending, you're not to possess any handguns, firearms, other dangerous weapons. Probable cause, November 25th, in front of Judge Kevin Robbins. Preliminary examination, December 2nd, in front of Judge Taylor. Step aside. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
What's your name, sir?
Luther Darrell Pope.
Mr. Pope?
Yes, sir.
All right, it's case number 2004511-001. He said, Mr. Darrell, Luther Pope.
Yes, sir.
I know it's for the record that I have a capious bond set by Judge Bryant, December 7th, 2021, 10%, $500. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate Stevenson for the people.
Janice Stevenson, on behalf of Mr. Darrell Pope, he stands mute, waives the reading of the information. After the plea of not guilty entered on his behalf, Mr. Pope has been advised of his rights, Your Honor.
All right, court will continue not guilty plea. Mrs. Stevenson, why should I not continue this capious bond set by Judge Bryant 3 years ago?
I'm asking the court to sign that personal bond, Your Honor. Mr. Pope and Mr. Clifford, well, the complaining witness in this case, Your Honor, used to be neighbors around the time of these allegations from 2020. Unfortunately, they've had a number of other cases together, one of which did proceed to trial. Mr. Pope was under the impression when that matter was resolved in his favor, this matter was accompanied with that. He understands now, having had the opportunity to sit over there at the DDC, that that's not the case, that these cases, if they do exist, are individual cases and they're not disposed of unless and until he gets an order from the court so indicating. So there is no reason for Mr. Pope to have any contact whatsoever with the complaining witness who he hasn't seen in about 4 years at this point. Mr. Pope works 8 in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 days a week at a local mechanic shop. Judge, he is on probation at this time, Your Honor, and that probation is on track. So he did have a hiccup with it. But he did get a chance to meet with his probation officer, went to court on it. They've gotten everything back on the way it's supposed to be going. Mr. Polk is trying to make sure that he stays out of jail, so he knows he's got to keep that probation moving and continue to have no contact with this complaining witness and come to court like he's supposed to. We have good contact information from Mr. Polk. Again, no contact whatsoever with the complainant. And I'm asking the court to exercise its discretion, the bond to personal.
Mr. Vincent?
Magistrate, no disrespect to defense counsel, because I know she's just getting in her information from the defendant, but I'm not buying it. There are 3 failures to appear in this case. If you noticed in the register of actions, the complaining witness appeared at all of the hearings. Even when the defendant wasn't showing up, the complaining witness was showing up. It's a travesty when you have a defendant who's facing charges not coming to court and the victim is wanting to see justice in the matter. So respectfully, we're asking for you to continue that.
So, Mr. Stevenson, you've had bad contact information in, huh?
No, Your Honor, we have new updated contact information for Mr. Polk, which reflects an address different from that which he had at the time when he was when these allegations were made against him at the hands of the complaining witness. So we have an updated address, which indicates that he's not living anywhere near the complainant at this time. They're not neighbors anymore, and so they don't have to have contact with each other.
In light of the multiple capiouses, I'm going to continue the bond set by Judge Bryant, $500, 10%. If this had been his first time, I can get it. I'll get it. But multiple capiouses, I'm inclined to agree, Mr. Vincent. No excuse. Is this an affordable bond?
Your Honor, could we have an unaffordable bond hearing set? And if he does post the $50, that'd be great.
Sure. November 18th, bond redetermination, Monday, 9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConaughey. Pretrial, November 27th, in front of Judge Bryant. Step aside, sir. Have a good day. Mr. Lewis, how are you?
Good morning, Your Honor. I am truly blessed. How about yourself?
I will be in about noon. How about that?
No, you are blessed. You are a blessed child of God now, Your Honor.
All right. Can you
Amen.
You can come. Okay. All right. All right. One moment, Mr. Lewis, for your client. Sir, what's your name at DDC?
Alex Shorter.
Alex Shorter?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, case number 240-603-4201, Houston, Michigan versus Alex Shorter. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Vincent for the people.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Mr. Alex Shorter. He stands and waives the reading of the information after the plea of not guilty entered on his behalf. Mr. Shorter has been advised of his rights, Your Honor.
Court of not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Shorter. Bond recommendation, Mr. Vincent.
Magistrate, serious but non-assaultive. We're not going to be objecting to a personal bond at this time.
$5,000 personal bond. While this case is pending, sir, you're not to possess any handguns, firearms, or other dangerous weapons. Probable cause, November 25th. Preliminary examination, December 2nd, both in front of Judge Jefferson. Step aside, sir. Okay. Bring up Mr. Johnson, please. Okay. Sir, state your name for the record.
Good morning, Judge. I'm Marcelo Johnson.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, before we call your main matter, you have some traffic matters in which you failed to appear in court for. As a result of your failure to appear, warrants for your arrest were issued. Court's going to set aside these arrest warrants, give you a personal bond in each of these misdemeanor matters that carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fines. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed on your behalf. The tickets are P1344255, driver license suspended. Ticket P995829, failed display of valid operator's license. Ticket P1111453, driver while unlicensed. Ticket P1123505, no insurance misdemeanor, driver license suspended. And ticket SH100111003, driver license suspended. In each of these misdemeanor matters, sir, you get a personal bond, no dollar amount, pretrial, December 13th in front of Judge Larry Williams. Now to your main matter. This is called on case number 240-594-7401, Houston, Michigan versus Marcellus Kenyatta Johnson. Before counsels put their appearance on the record, I have a $30,000 cash capious bond set by Judge Giles, October 4, 2004. Appearances from counsels?
Yes, Your Honor. This is a felony capious, so the people will not be appearing on this matter.
Okay, Mr. Lewis, keep in mind, I don't have authority to change a bond set by a judge unless you have contacted the judge and that's got an ex parte order to reduce the bond. Have you?
No, Your Honor, I do. Well, let me place my appearance on the record.
Sure.
May it please the court, Anthony Lewis, 43876, appearing on behalf of Mr. Johnson. I have no objection to this proceeding being conducted by Zoom, and I thank the court for allowing me to Zoom in. Mr. Johnson, state your name for the record.
Marcellus Johnson.
All right. Magistrate Burton, I heard what the court said. Just 3 hours ago, my client was standing in front of Judge Giles. He had given me instructions on the day of the capias to actually bring him in, and he said I could Zoom in. Now, me and Mr. Johnson have been in communications since that date about 6 times. I still have his voicemails, and I would be there, he wouldn't be, he would be there at the courthouse, I wouldn't be, I couldn't Zoom in, and we finally was able to get there first thing this morning at 8:30. He was there. The case was called in the 9 o'clock hour, and at that time, the judge decided not to recall the capias at that time. He said, I'm going to put it through the system. So that's the reason the case is in front of you. And he would not let me explain any further. So that's all
Okay.
that
Well,
I tell you.
in light of that, the court will continue the bond set, the capias bond set by Judge Giles, $30,000 cash surety. While this case is pending, sir, you're not to possess any drugs. Mr. Lewis, there's a bond redetermination hearing Monday, November 18th, 2024, via Zoom in front of Chief Judge McConaughey, where you can argue for the bond to be reduced at that point in time. An additional court dates, November 26th for probable cause, December 3rd for preliminary examination. Any questions you have, Mr. Lewis?
Judge, I can tell you that my client had the intent to hire his own attorney, and I just wanted to see my obligation through. Though the dates are what they are, I believe at the PCC, I could then tell Judge Giles that he's going to hire his own attorney. On November the 18th, that the court made reference to, Chief Judge McConaughey's ID number would be what, if you have it, Your Honor?
Whatever it is, 533.
Okay, thank you so much.
Instead of 134, it'll be 533.
And that would be at 8:30.
9 a.m. And you can go on the court's website to log in for that as well. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you.
All right, you can take care of Mr. Johnson. I guess you want back to lockup?
I got a question, Judge.
Yes.
So 30,000, I can pay 10% of that?
No. Judge Giles said that $30,000 cash. So you got a bondsman with $30,000 cash surety. It's no 10%.
Also, I can get a bond.
Yes, you can. What's your name, sir?
Stefan Anthony Brooks Gaston.
Repeat that.
Stefan Anthony Brooks Gaston.
Brooks Gaston. Okay, I got it now. All right, this is case number 240-605-3601. People State of Michigan versus Stefan Brooks Gaston. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Vincent, P71917.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Stefan Brooks Gaston. He stands mute, waives the reading of the information after the plea of not guilty be entered on his behalf. Mr. Brooks Gaston has been advised of his rights, Your Honor.
All right, court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Brooks Gaston. Mr. Vincent, I assume you're asking for a remand?
I am Magistrate under 6.106. Did a little bit of research on this just to give you an idea as to what's going on since this incident. I have
no disrespect, Mr. Vincent, but I did the probable cause for the companion case last week, and so I am familiar with this case. The reason why I have to ask now for a remand because you surprised me one day, and so I have to ask now when you.
This one, this one, unlike that one, I think is pretty clear. I think it shows substantial danger, at least on the part of the defendant, and how he participated in this. I do appreciate you asking me. However, based on the allegations and the extensive investigation in this matter, as well as the admittance of this defendant to certain things with the police, I think remand's appropriate.
Okay, Mrs. Stevenson?
Your Honor, I'm going to ask the court to forego remand at this time. Mr. Brooks Gaston is still presumed innocent. Whatever he did or didn't say, we don't know about its admissibility at this time, Your Honor. We're only at the arraignment phase. Mr. Brooks Gaston is 18 years old with no prior criminal history, Your Honor. He has completed the 11th grade, needs to go ahead and finish up and get a high school diploma, move forward with his life, Your Honor. But again, 18 years old, no prior criminal history, and I'm asking the court not to remand at this point, Your Honor. I don't know. I do understand from the investigator's report that some statements have been made, but I don't know about the admissibility of those statements. I don't know what they're going to do with regard to possible conviction on this charge.
Is he attending high school now?
Your Honor, Mr. Brooks Gaston, do you go to school right now online or something?
Yes, I'm trying to I'm re-enrolling for online because I stopped last year to take care of my dad and my niece. My dad was very sick, so I had to stop for a couple months to take care of him.
Thank you, sir. So he's got to work on getting re-enrolled in an online program, Your Honor. It's indicated he's been taking care of relatives. No criminal history, though. No capious history.
You shouldn't have one at 18.
I agree with that. I guess if that were the complete fact, though, we'd all have to find some different way to hang around each other every.
I'm going to leave that comment alone, Mrs. Stevenson. Given the serious allegations here, two decedents, and like I said, reading the investigator's report, I think there's a heavy presumption of guilt, clearly a danger to the community. And I'm going to remand Mr. Brooks Gaston in custody of the Wayne County Jail while this case is pending. Have a good day, sir. Probable cause November 26th, legal examination December 2nd, both in front of Judge Sabri. What's your name, sir?
Dr. Alexis Carter Jr.
All right, Mr. Carter, you have some traffic matters which you failed to appear in court for, sir. As a result of your failure to appear, warrants for your arrest were issued. The court's going to set aside the arrest warrants, give you a personal bond in each of these misdemeanor matters that carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be against you. You have the right to an attorney. You can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed on your behalf. The tickets are U542-25709, consuming alcoholic beverage in public. Ticket 19502-1761. No driver's license on person. Ticket U609-92621. Trespassing inside location. Ticket P1072446. Failed display valid operator's license, no insurance, misdemeanor, driving an unregistered motor vehicle. Ticket P1097403. Driver license not valid in the proper place, no insurance, misdemeanor. Ticket P1552675. In proper place, no insurance, misdemeanor, driver's license never required. In each of these misdemeanor matters, sir, you're given a personal bond, no dollar amount. Pre-trial December 17th in front of Judge Christina Kennedy. Not to your main matter. Calling case number 240-605-3701. State of Michigan versus Paul Carter. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Benson for the people.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Paul Carter Jr. He stands mute, waives the reading of the information, asks for the plea of not guilty in his behalf. Mr. Carter has been advised of his rights, Your Honor.
Court of not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Carter. Bond recommendation, Mr. Vincent.
Magistrate, you may see this a different way, but the way that I read the investigator's report, this is the assaultive part of the R&O. We're going to be asking for a 5,000, 10%. We'll leave the monetization up to you.
Okay, Mrs. Stevenson.
Your Honor, Mr. Carter is 27 years old, Your Honor. He does have to take care of those traffic cases, but I'm not aware of any habeas history, Your Honor. He is employed with a local restaurant, Your Honor. He works 5 days a week from 8 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He does live locally in this community. He has 3 children that income is helping to support, Your Honor. Without making any admission to anything, I think that the investigator's report does indicate that there is some contrition that was verbalized on the part of Mr. Carter. So I guess we could look at that as some kind of an admission. We could also look at that as a factor for the court to take into consideration as to whether or not Mr. Carter is a danger to the community or to the police. And I don't think he is. I don't think he's done anything to show that he's not going to come to court as directed. I think he's going to try to just keep working, keep taking care of his family. It's an unfortunate incident, Your Honor. I don't know if there's like some flinching or whatever going on as he was being taken down to the ground after arguing with a significant other, Your Honor. They said that no laws were violated. He's not charged with any companion charges. So I am asking the court to release Mr. Carter on personal bond, give him an opportunity to get back to work and come to court, bring this matter to its lawful conclusion. I think that's what he indicated he was trying to do as the incident transpired.
You know, Mrs. Stevenson, I haven't heard the word contrition since I was in Catholic school.
No comment.
All right. I am going to give him the benefit of the doubt, Mrs. Stevenson, since you used the word contrition, which is a nice word of saying I'm sorry. So $10,000 personal bond. You never cease to surprise you, Mrs. Stevenson. All right, $10,000 personal bond. Probable cause November 26th. Preliminary examination December 3rd, both in front of Judge Jefferson. Step aside, sir.
Magistrate, I think you just showed your cards. If I start making more biblical references, I may get points with you. So maybe we might have to start pulling out verses here.
Oh, I got a quick story to tell you. When I was a prosecutor many years ago, I got this victim call me up, blowing up my phone and said, I got a death threat. Okay, ma'am. What did the death threat say? Somebody had posted on her door, the wages of sin is death.
Oh boy. Okay, well, I guess it can be interpreted a number of different ways. That was her interpretation, so I guess everybody has one. No.
Yes. So
I appreciate.
So be careful with the biblical references.
Will do. Copy that.
All right. I think you all may have been on that case, Mrs. Stevenson. I bet you were.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. I figured that. It's got you had all your fingerprints on it. All right, DDC, are we through with the mails? I think we're through with the mails. I think we are. I am so right today. Oh, my goodness.
Say your full name. Hi, I'm Mahogany Denise Hayes.
Mahogany Hayes?
Yes.
Mahogany Hayes?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Hayes, you have some traffic matters which you failed to appear in court for. As a result of your failure to appear in court, Ms. Hayes, a warrant for arrest was issued. The court's going to set aside those arrest warrants, Ms. Hayes, and give you a personal bond on each of these misdemeanor matters that carries the maximum penalty of up to or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be against you. You have the right to the Hines, P1554829. Driver license suspended. Ticket P1554827. Driving the rest of motor vehicle, no insurance, misdemeanor, proper plates. Ticket P1324680. No insurance required. Pre-trial December 13th. For these matters from the Judge Millhouse. Is that clear, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah, I know I got a lot of tickets. I don't know where they come from, but I know I got a lot of them.
Okay, well, I just told you a lot of them. Pay attention, pay attention. All right, now to your main matter. It's case number 240-595-9201. Houston, Michigan versus Mahogany Hines. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Magistrate. Good morning. Steve Vincent for the people.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Mahogany Haynes, who stands mute, waives the reading of the information. As to the plea of not guilty, enter on her behalf, Ms. Haynes has been advised of her rights, Your Honor.
Okay, court of not guilty plea on behalf of Ms. Haynes. This is nearly over 2-year-old case, but involves shots fired. So, Mr. Vincent, what is your bond recommendation?
Yeah, this one it's a nightmare. You know, at least based on the allegations. This makes you not want to go through any fast food drive-through because allegedly the defendant ended up working at a fast food restaurant, I think being her first day, ends up pulling a gun on one of the fast food patrons that was going through the drive-through. And the patron has kids in her car.
Yeah, let me read the statement from the complainant in here, kind of clarify. April 20th, 2022, Detective obtained a statement from the complainant. She stated that she arrived at Wendy's restaurant to buy dinner for 4 children who were in the vehicle with her at the time of the incident. The complaining witness stated when she pulled her vehicle up to the drive-thru to pay for the order, Ms. Haynes recognized her immediately. The complaining witness stated she was unaware Ms. Haynes worked at Wendy's. Ms. Haynes told the complaining witness, quote, "Didn't I tell you next time I saw you, I would kill you?" Close quote. The complaining witness said Ms. Haynes pulled out a black-colored handgun and pointed at her. The complaining witness said she drove around to the opposite side of the restaurant to go inside and report the incident to the manager. The complaining witness stated before she could exit the vehicle, Ms. Haynes exited the restaurant, fired 1 shot at her vehicle while the children were inside the vehicle. Ms. complaining witness stated she drove quickly away using the cell phone, summoned police, drove home, dropped off her children, returned to the restaurant to meet the police. So these are egregious facts that you were alluding to, Mr. Vincent. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be asking for a cash bond as a result because this is clearly premeditated. Shooting guns allegedly in a car with children is reckless behavior, endangering not only the children. So I know you're going to ask for a cash bond, Mr. Vincent. What's the amount?
I am. I'm going to ask for 20,000, 10%. And I just, if you may, allow me, I'm not even going to go so far as to talk about the shots being fired because that wasn't corroborated. What was corroborated was that this defendant ended up pointing that gun and then she was found with that gun. There isn't video to substantiate or capture this defendant firing her firearm. So I'm not going to rely on that for my cash request. But when you're pointing a gun at a helpless individual stuck in a car with only feet in between you, and then there are children that are in that vehicle as well, that's my argument for a reckless disregard for life. And as a direct result of that, we're asking for that cash.
So 20,000. Hold on, ma'am, Ms. Haynes. Ms. Haynes.
Okay.
Did anybody give you, ma'am? Did anybody give you permission to talk?
No.
Okay, well then don't talk.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Vincent, that was $20,000, 10%?
Yes, Magistrate.
Okay, Mrs. Stevenson.
So, Your Honor, Ms. Haynes is now 23 years old. She has a pretty good job and told me this morning that she just put in some applications to get an additional job. She works at a local delivery company, Your Honor, from 3 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week. She does suffer from epilepsy, Your Honor, and while she was incarcerated after her arrest, Your Honor, she had a seizure in the middle of the night and had to be taken to the hospital. She has 2 daily seizure medications that have been prescribed to her, which she has not gotten. He was arrested at home only for this warrant. The police came out just to execute this warrant. Doesn't look like there have been any problems, any allegations of any kind of wrongdoing since the date of this April 22 incident, Your Honor. Ms. Haynes does live locally with her mother and her grandfather, her child, and her brother. All Ms. Haynes wants to do is get back to work. I'm not aware of any problems that she's had with the complaining witness since the time of this incident. I do appreciate the people first making all these statements about these shootings and then acknowledging that there's really nothing, there's no evidence to support that any shooting took place, other than I acknowledge that the investigators' report says that somebody saw Ms. Haynes with a gun. But, firing shots while you're working and all that stuff, we would have some kind of evidence of that, and we just don't. So I don't know that that's what was going on. It's just the complaining witness who says that, and that'll have to be fleshed out as the matter moves through court. But at this time, Ms. Haynes hasn't done anything that I would suggest shows that she's a danger to the public other than these allegations, and she hasn't had any allegations like this since 2022. She's working, hasn't missed any court dates, and I'm asking the court to release her on personal bond so she can get back to work, Your Honor.
I'm going to adopt the recommendation of the people for the reasons stated by Mr. Vincent. These allegations are true. They're very, very serious and endangering not only complaining witnesses' lives, but potentially her children or 4 children, if these allegations are true. So $20,000, 10% cash bond while this case is pending. You got to possess any handguns, firearms, or other dangerous weapons. No contact with the Nakia handline. You'll be able to post bond GPS tether, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. Bond redetermination Monday, November 18th, 9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConicle. Probable cause November 25th. Preliminary examination December 2nd, both in front of Judge Giles. Step aside.
Your Honor, she works 3 a.m. With regard to the curfew, she works 3 a.m. to 9 a.m.
3 a.m. to 9 p.m.?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many jobs does she have? How many jobs does she have?
1 right now.
You said 3 a.m. to what?
3 a.m. to 9 a.m., Your Honor.
So 11 a.m. to midnight curfew, will that work? Mr. Stevenson?
Yes, I think that would, Your Honor.
Okay, step aside, Ms. Haynes.
Your Honor, did you say that bond is unaffordable, and I didn't write down the court date. Okay.
You mean you didn't pay attention?
No, I mean I didn't write down the court dates.
Okay, since you're contrite about it, I'll read them to you again. Bond redetermination, November 18th, 9 a.m. for the Chief Judge McConicle. Probable cause, November 25th. Preliminary examination, December 2nd. Both for the Judge Giles. Did you get them now, Mrs. Stevenson?
I did. Thank you so much.
Step aside.
I do.
Go ahead, Mr. Vincent.
I do have to say this is somewhat nauseating, us being so cordial with one another. I got to get off the screen. There's too much.
No, it's not nauseating. It's not nauseating. All right, what's your name, ma'am?
Anisha Hodge.
This is case number 180-444-3401. Peace of Michigan versus Anisha Hodge. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Anisha Hodges. She stands mute. Stands mute. Waives a reading of the information after the plea of not guilty be entered on her behalf. Ms. Hodge has been advised of her rights, Your Honor.
This case has been adjudicated. She capers that review on November 4th of 2019, and there's a $1,000 cash surety capers bond set by Judge King. Why should I continue that bond, Mrs. Stevenson?
So at this point, Your Honor, and I'm sorry, I wasn't able to pull that up because it's not a public record at this time. So, Your Honor, Ms. Hodge is under the impression that she's complied with the terms and conditions of probation. She did tell me this morning, Your Honor, that she was on an assault and battery probation that she completed in May. Ms. Hodge is working, Your Honor, at a local delivery company Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 3:30 in the afternoon until 8:30 at night. She's supposed to be at work this afternoon, Your Honor. And yesterday was her third day on that job. Ms. Hodges does have some mental health issues, Your Honor, for which it has been prescribed medication. She has not missed any dosings at this point, Your Honor, but she does not have that medication with her.
Mrs. Stevenson.
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't have to go into a medical history. I stand corrected. The case is from October 29th, 2020 from Judge Bryant. I stand corrected. And the bond is set by 10%, $500. Do you have good contact information for her now?
I received contact information from Ms. Hodges this morning, and I am asking the court to exercise its discretion to modify that bonded person.
Why? Why should I do that, Mr. Stevenson?
For the reasons stated on the record, Your Honor, that Ms. Hodges does have some medical issues that she does need to attend to. And most importantly, that she, again, advised me that she believes that she was on probation and that was completed in May. Your Honor, I would have done a little bit more investigation about this if I had had the record.
May of what year?
2020. 2024, Your Honor.
Really?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mrs. Coyle, any comments?
Your Honor, I have no objection to a personal. This is adjudicated. She's made some efforts. She is working. I would have no objection to a personal.
Okay. $500 personal bond. While this case is pending, not possessing handguns, firearms, other means, weapons. No contact with Tamara Porter. Show up to court, man. Is that too much there? Just show up to court. And so we can officially close this thing out. November 27th, in front of Judge Garrett, review date. Step aside. Have a good day.
I'll just wait.
So was the KPS in front of Garrett or Brian?
Baskin.
Brian set the KPS, but it looks like it's going to go to Garrett for review. This is for Baskins.
Is your full name? She for Baskin.
Ms. Baskin, you have some traffic matters which you failed to appear in court for. As a result, you have failed to appear on warrants for arrest were issued. The court's going to set aside the arrest warrants, give you personal bond. These misdemeanor matters that carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be against you. You have the right to an attorney. You can't afford an attorney. One will be appointed on your behalf. The tickets are P1559620. Driver's license never required. ticket P1227290, failed display of valid driver's license. You're in a personal bond, no dollar amount in each of these matters. Pre-trial December 13th in front of Judge Yancey. Now to your main matter. This is case number 240-604-7301. People versus Shaniqua Baskins. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Shaniqua Baskins, who stands mute, waives the reading of the information, asks that a plea of not guilty be entered on her behalf. Ms. Baskins has been advised of her rights, Your Honor.
All right, the court of not guilty plea on behalf of Ms. Baskins. I reviewed the investigator's report on this morning. It looks like a 3-car accident with just a tragedy. So, and my heart sank once I read it. So, Mrs. Coyle, your bond recommendation?
The bond recommendation, this child was 4. He was unrestrained in the back seat. I see that this is daytime. She's driving without a driver's license. She has no insurance. She doesn't properly secure her child. She's driving a car. This is why it's involuntary manslaughter with poor brake system. And that she claimed her brakes went out and she couldn't stop, and that's what we see. And then she goes over a concrete burial guardrail and drops onto the northbound I-75 freeway, striking a vehicle, which in fact then struck another vehicle. So I also note that although she wasn't charged, she did have marijuana in her system. So this is a tragedy all the way around, Your Honor. I'm asking for $20,000 cash surety, no drugs, including marijuana, and no driving because she didn't have a driver valid license at the time and no insurance. So for those reasons, Your Honor, those are the reasons for the cash bond.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
The 20,000. My bond request was 20,000 cash surety, no drugs, including marijuana, no driving, based on that.
Okay. Mr. Stevenson?
So, Your Honor, Ms. Baskins does not have any children in her care and custody at this time. She is seeking employment, but she is working full-time on getting a GED. She's in a GED program, Your Honor, through Detroit at work. She doesn't have any capious history. She was arrested at home when the police came out to execute this warrant that took them, a few months to go ahead and put together. Ms. Baskins obviously has some depression medication that she's taking. She's not getting that during her time of incarceration. Nothing to indicate that she won't be in court. If the court prohibits her from operating a motor vehicle, there's nothing to indicate that she would be a danger to the public, doesn't have any kids in her care and custody. If she's not driving, then we don't have to be concerned about this. I'm asking the court to release Ms. Baskins on personal bond. She hasn't done anything to show that she's not going to come to court like she's supposed to. If she's going to get any more punishment, I don't know what kind of punishment the criminal justice could mete out to her that exceeds what she's already going through on her own. But if she's going to get any additional punishment, Your Honor, that'll be coming down the road. First, she's got to be found culpable here of doing something, other than having a bad car. So not strapping the baby in, Your Honor. She still got to be. That still has to be proven.
And not driving.
And I don't see any traffic infraction that's alleged to have taken place, Your Honor. Other than possibly driving without a license. Yes, Your Honor.
Nobody's alleging any traffic violations. She shouldn't have been driving to begin with. That's my point. Accidents occur every day, all the time. We all have been in them through no fault of our own. Life happens. Okay, I'm not saying she's a poor driver, but she exercised poor judgment by one, allegedly not strapping the child in, one, violating the state laws by driving, and two, driving an unsafe vehicle. All a recipe for disaster. Okay, finish your argument, Mrs. Stevenson.
So if the court prohibits her from operating a motor vehicle, I don't think we have to be concerned about that prong anymore, and I agree with the court. If she doesn't have any children in her care and custody, we don't have to be concerned about that. And there's nothing to indicate that she won't be back in court as she's supposed to be. I believe that there are ways to ensure safety to the public short of incarceration, and that's through those prohibitions that have been listed. So I'm asking the court to release Ms. Baskins on personal bond. Again, I have absolutely no objection to a prohibition against the operation of a motor vehicle, and even no contact with children, Your Honor.
Well, I find that potentially Ms. Baskins is a danger to the community. I think she needs a cash bond, not only to the child who's in the car, but potentially to other drivers on the road, as indicated by this 3-vehicle accident. And so I think she is a danger to the community. It appears she doesn't have any disregard for violating the state laws for driving, when she doesn't have a valid driver's license. She has clearly disregard for the laws of the state of Michigan and acted accordingly and endangered not only the decedent, but potentially other people in this accident. So I find she's a danger to the community, $20,000 cash surety. This case is pending. No marijuana, no illegal drugs, no driving. I assume this is an unaffordable bond?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Bond redetermination, November 18th, Monday, 9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConicle. Probable cause, November 25th, preliminary examination, December 2nd, both in front of Judge Sabri. Step aside, ma'am.
All right, I'm just waiting.
$20,000 cash surety.
Magistrate Burton, that's all I have for this morning, Your Honor. We'll see this guy this afternoon.
No, Rebecca West.
She should be at the hospital. They should be calling you from the hospital, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Have a good afternoon, everybody. See everybody at 2:30.